to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we begin a new adventure, one that is quite fantastical with the Lord of the Rings franchise. We are beginning with, of course, The Fellowship of the Ring. It was released on December 19th, 2001, written for the screen by Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Peter Jackson, based on the novel, of course, by J.R.R. Tolkien, and directed by Peter Jackson. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. You know, we've had a good run on the Cinementalists so far. It's been fucking wonderful. We did the live comms of Star Wars. We did the horror bag of treats on Halloween. We did the entire Indiana Jones franchise. And, I mean, we're off to a hot fucking start for Lord of the Rings. This was a third watch for me, but a first watch for you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling on the other side of your first Lord of the Rings experience?
Whoa. I will say that I wasn't completely blind going into the movie. I guess it's kind of like everyone just born with the knowledge that Darth Vader is Luke's father. I feel like there's just sort of I didn't know exactly story details really, but more of just like Gandalf is just that dude. And Aragorn is that dude as well. I don't know. It's just kind of like off memes and just off of social culture. I've just known that like they're not to be fucked with, and that was just kind of
they're not to be fucked with.
Yeah. The only thing I guess that I knew going in. So no big story beats or anything, but it was oh my god.
So you got your shit rocked a couple times during this movie then.
Oh man, yeah. There were I had no like. I mean, I'm assuming he's not, he's not dead. Like, he wouldn't be that. He did some stuff in this movie that he could be considered that dude alone from here. But, like, he has to come back, right? Like, there's
and there's something to consider. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything for you in any regard. But because I've read the books. I have not watched the latter two movies. So I do not know how different the movies are from the books. I can't really spoil the movies for you because I haven't seen the next two movies. What I do know is that Ian McKellen is in the Hobbit movies, though, as Gandalf, the three prequels, and I know that Gandalf is a big character in the Hobbit books as well. So Gandalf has more than enough reason to be of notoriety, even if he's not in the next two movies, which I don't know if he is. But
okay then. But yeah, because I mean, I had no clue that he could just go in this movie.
That he could die.
Yes,
yeah,
and when I was
fly, you fools.
Yes,
yeah,
like
that's
all
the
of
shit,
them.
Man.
Whenever the music, the music is also
the fucking music, dude.
Yeah,
all time shit right there. I mean, what Howard Shore cooked here is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard his name. I don't know. Would I recognize him for anywhere else, or is this like his?
I don't know if there's anything in particular that you would immediately be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that, and I know exactly what theme you're talking about." This is definitely his most notorious work. Is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because when Gandalf dies, and like it's that after, like they're out of the cave and they're just kind of all just in just shock and all just depressed and crying and just that like those like hums that are just it's the just slow man. Just like oh my god and I was just I was right there with him. I'm like holy shit. I'm like yeah no he was one of the most he was the guy kind of for the whole movie. Like he strolls up in his wagon and just comes in, blows a fucking pirate ship smoke. It's not even it's just it is just a pirate ship
smoke trick.
Yeah, and I don't know, dude is just absolutely dope from the start, and everyone loves him.
Gandalf's the shit, man.
Lights the fireworks off, and
and it's Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I know,
and it's Ian McKellen. Like, how are you like? This movie is chock full of just fantastic characters, fantastic performances, wall to wall, just brilliant stuff going on. I mean, I want to talk about a lot of the characters kind of individually here, because Obviously Aragorn. You brought up Aragorn. Were you shocked whenever they were like, "That's Aragorn"? Was that something that surprised you, or was that something you knew?
I
going
knew
in,
his
was
face.
That this guy played Aragorn.
Yes,
okay, I see.
I guess that I knew the IRL actor.
You knew Viggo Mortensen played Aragorn.
Yeah.
I see. All right,
man, and what a fucking just the look of that character. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
what a guy.
I
what
feel
a
like
man.
he's the Jon Snow kind of Lord of the Rings here. Just the guy who doesn't want it, but everyone wants him to be the king, pretty much. And
and he's slowly just becoming that guy too. And and that's what's cool too, is he's already that guy. Like they make that clear. It's my favorite. My favorite dynamic in this movie, and there's so many great dynamics. Obviously Frodo is fantastic. Frodo and Samwise. Just wonderful. Love those two characters. Love their relationship. I love Gandalf and Frodo. I love Gandalf and Aragorn. But my favorite is Aragorn and Boromir. That is the dynamic of the movie, because they're the only two humans, the only two men. And the dichotomy between them is the most interesting in the movie. Boromir is everything that makes man man. You know what I'm saying? The temptations, the lack of faith, the love and the good intentions, and he wants to do everything right, and he wants what's best for his people, and he wants what's best for them, but he doesn't have the self-control to hold himself accountable. That's what makes Aragorn fit to be king, is that he's a man who feels like more than man, and I think that's a fucking awesome dynamic, and that ending between them is just a gut punch, man. I love it. I love the end of this movie.
Man, I thought we were going to get another Ned Stark
beheading.
Execution, but Arrow, I thought that arrow was flying, and I thought it was going through his head, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no way this dude just signs up for the most just unexpected, gruesome deaths out of nowhere.
Right.
But no, yeah, initially, like, whenever I don't know if it is their first meeting, but whenever it's kind of that shrine of the broken sword, and Boromir walks in, and he's like in awe of the painting of it, but then he like walks up to the actual sword itself, and just because Aragorn's over there, I feel like he's kind of like, oh, whatever, just some metal.
He's prideful,
now.
It's just he's too human, which is so funny to say, and it's what makes him one of the most compelling characters in the movie. I wouldn't say he's my favorite character in the movie. I would say he's the most interesting character in the movie. I think I can stand by that pretty staunchly, and it makes Sean Bean my performance for sure. Which I spent the whole movie going, gosh, I do not know how I'm going to pick a performance. I do not know how I'm going to pick a performance. Then you get to the last 30 minutes when Sean Bean starts chasing down Frodo, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, Frodo. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry." And then he's fighting them off with Pippin and Meriadoc Brandybuck. Love that name. And then it's his final scene, and everything just from that moment on, I was like, yeah, it's got to be Sean Bean for me. Which means I'm not going to go with Boromir for my character, but I did have to go with him for performance, because he is so fucking good.
Okay. Yeah, he was one of three characters that I put up here in order. I guess performance-wise for me, I think just Elijah Wood as Frodo, just having just the most screen time, I feel like, out of any of the characters. And just I feel like what he does best is whenever it's just his face. His facial acting, like his eyes are
great eyes.
Oh my God.
Great eyes.
Fucking perfect for this movie. Everything. I don't know, just everything about him. But then like he conveys so much emotion through like lip twitches or like little just, I don't know, it just his
very subtle. Yeah.
And I just thought throughout the whole movie he stuck it the whole time. You're right, like you can pretty much pick of the litter of anyone here. Like I would, Ian McKellen was another close one, just for kind of coming in, just setting
his
the stage. And just the actual, I guess I've sort of seen maybe how or heard of that, like it's hard to shoot these shots, like because of, I don't know, the different sizes of the But what are they doing? Like, is it perspective, or is it like how are they actually getting these? Is it
as far as I can recall, Ian McKellen shoots a lot of scenes on his own.
Okay, that makes sense. And he's the only thing added in then.
Actually, they're added in. They do their scenes, and like, because there's behind the scenes pictures of him in the Hobbit house, like in the little rooms, just by himself doing scenes. And I'm assuming that they also do the same thing. But they're the ones that you need to do the actual effects on and stuff because they're so tiny.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, duh. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just in the movie, I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, yep, these are just small people and they're hobbits and that's, a big wizard. And then but now I'm like actually like for the first time thinking of how to shoot it in real life, like what they had to do to do all of that.
That's why Peter Jackson's direction of this movie is so incredible, man. It's even more impressive that they get the performances out of these people that they did because, it reminds me a lot of Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker acting across from Yoda the whole movie and it being believable, even though it's just a puppet and a voice actor and that's all it is. Just them two, nothing else going on there. That's difficult to do, man. And I think it makes their job all the more impressive. But yeah, I loved this shit, man. This was, and I said this is the third time I've watched it, and it's far and away the most I've ever loved the movie. And I will say, this is also the first time I've ever watched the theatrical edition of the movie, which makes me think I might like the theatrical edition of the movie more because I came away fucking just much more like, oh my God, how have I never loved this movie as much? And then I was like, oh wait, I've only ever watched the extended editions. Maybe that's why.
Okay, I guess
now I couldn't really point you to the differences. It'd been a couple years since I'd watched the extended edition last. I don't really know what was different. I don't know if I'm just a different movie watcher. Maybe I'd like the extended editions more now. Maybe there's something there. But I can tell you for sure, 3 watches of Fellowship of the Ring, 2 extended, 1 theatrical. The most satisfied I've ever been on the other side of it is here. And I already loved the movie. I knew I loved the movie. But I went to my favorite movies ever ranked list, and it climbed, man. It went up there. Like, I was like, I love this fucking thing. And because of that, I will be astonished. Like, Two Towers and Return of the King. I've heard Return of the King is just unbelievable. I've heard that's that movie. That is the one. I have a tough time believing anything will beat Fellowship for me. I can't really imagine liking either of the other 2 movies more than I like this. And I invite it, if I do, I do, hell yeah, I'm there. If that's possible, we're looking at a problem for my favorite franchises ever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It did hit me. I was a little scared whenever I'm like, okay, time to place it on the favorites movie of all time list. And it like kind of easily like was right next to Revenge of the Sith. And I'm like, whoa.
It's better than it's better than every Star Wars movie except for 2 of them.
Yeah. And that was my realization is like it has to be like, I don't know, it's better than Revenge of the Sith. It's obviously better than Revenge of the Sith. And it was so fast. It was like, oh, okay, whoa, this one is up there already. And I don't know, I had a realization of like that it's so fantasy. Like this is nothing on Earth. Like it is Middle Earth, whatever. Earth is in the name and it's nature, but like it's so clearly its own world and like everything just seems to be thought of, or it seems so lived in and just so crazy and fantastical. But I feel like fantasy, like it gets more black and white than the real world. Some like through all of the crazy like facade, it actually just says, oh, here's this ring of all evil. And if you want to,
it's very simple.
Yeah, relate that. Like what's the word? The MacGuffin or McGaffin? I feel,
MacGuffin.
MacGuffin.
You got it right.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a perfect MacGuffin for like any social I don't know, just like any the temptations of man. I don't know. It gets down to the bare bones of things, and I think that's why I don't know. It's just so easy to digest, and it makes it just so black and white, but also at the same time having wizards and demons, and we're in different realms. I don't know, just crazy different landscapes, and but they all seem so believable. And
100%.
And man, yeah, I mean,
and that's what's so real. That's what's so cool is that it's also fucking tangible. Like Hobbiton is one of the most impressive physical set design pieces I've ever seen. Like the hillsides and the like it's a ode to location scouting. Like a lot of what you see, you are actually fucking seeing. It's there. Obviously, there are the moments in like Moria, down Moria or whatever, down underneath the mountain in the mines of Moria. Like that's obviously not real, but like, and there are obviously things like that are not real. But there's a lot of really, really great landscape shots, like in the mountains. Those are actually fucking mountains, you know. Like those are real. That's there. That exists. And that's what makes it so fucking beautiful is that they were able to blend this fantastical nature into our real world, and they made our real world feel like Middle Earth, and I think that that's really, really cool. It's and you know, going back to why, like, it's I know for a fact that this is better than the first Star Wars movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, no doubt in my mind, this is better than 1977 George Lucas Star Wars. And that's not
not a diss.
That's
on
not
Star Wars.
no, not at all. And frankly, this should be better than Star Wars. It's adapted from one of the greatest novels of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the fucking blueprint. They know what they need to do. They just need to execute on it. So that's another thing, is that these three movies should be that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they weren't, it was going to be a giant fucking letdown. Because this is the first time they are adapting them.
A lot of my credit actually goes to the books then. Or like a lot of my last point, I guess, about the fantasy and how crazy it is, because like, I mean, I feel like Elvish, like people actually speak that. I've heard, you know, people know this language, which is like, is there even a language in Star Wars that's fully formed that like people actually speak, or is it just the alphabets that like, you know, are kind of used in Star Wars?
I mean, I think that there are phrases, you know, but I don't think there are. I don't think like there's entire language. Well, and that's I'm pretty sure J.R.R. Tolkien was like a language, like that was his thing. He created languages.
Wow.
So like
this dude just, I don't know, he had the
whenever he wrote Elvish and those languages, he was already familiar with Latin, Greek, Italian, Spanish, and 3 ancient Germanic languages: Gothic, Old Norse, and Old English. Like, the languages were Tolkien's thing. So like that's why people can speak these languages.
Very interesting. Every morning, or I don't know, every day I walk to class, there's a sign, like someone from the campus that's like, learning multiple languages creates new pathways in the brain and only leads to, I don't know, something like more brain development and more creativity, and it's only good. And maybe this dude, I mean, he had all the languages. I don't know. He knew how to convey story just better than anyone. I don't know. And it's this first watch, like, I've already wanted to be like, okay, well, now I obviously have to finish the trilogy first. I have to finish the movies. Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, well, I have to watch the extended versions now. I need to know just anything more about the movies. And then I mean, books are hard for me. So to commit to books is one thing, but like these are, I don't know, more than Dune. It's pulling me more than Dune.
They're must reads.
Which is...
they are. It's just kind of like, there's a point in this movie that's about 40 minutes in. That's like hundreds of pages into the book. Like it is so far beyond in detail what this movie gets you to go into. There, and you know, to the credit of J.R.R. Tolkien, and you know, to the credit of this movie, is that I don't feel like you're missing any massive beats in the movie comparatively to the book. There's some stuff that could have been expanded upon that even the extended editions don't even begin to do. Like it's like Let me check on this real quick, because this movie is obviously, the theatrical cut of this movie is 3 hours long. Which is obviously very, very long. The Fellowship of the Ring. Let's just check on. Oh, come on now. I want to check how long the audiobook for Fellowship of the Ring is.
Okay.
Because that's a good. It's a good baseline here. I believe it's 48 hours. Oh, it's 20 hours. Okay. 20 hours. It's a 20-hour book to read. And we got a 3-hour movie out of it. You know, like there's obviously so much more there. And one of my favorite characters that isn't in the movies from the books is Tom Bombadil. Would have liked seeing Tom Bombadil, but he just wouldn't fit in the movie. Like there's just it's too big of a side quest, basically. That like there's no way that you can incorporate it in the story we've got here.
A whole day's worth, almost a day's worth of book into 3. I mean, 3 hours. It didn't seem that long though, which is surprising.
No, it fucking breezes, man. It flies.
I think the first, in the Shire and getting the story started is a bit slower, but I think that's just on purpose. You're building the world. We're getting to know all the characters. But man, once we hit, what is it? I always confuse it with the
Rivendell?
Skyrim. Yeah, Rivendell. There's River Run in Skyrim, and I don't know. I keep wanting to
River
say
Run
it,
is also in Game of Thrones.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing another river city with maybe there's 3 that are going in my brain. But man,
there you go.
There's
also Riverdale, the show.
Yes, Riverdale Road. I feel like a song, a future
Two
song.
Chains.
Or 2 Chainz.
Two
Thank
Chainz.
you. Yeah, thank you, man.
Riverdale, he would there, she would there, you would there. Yeah.
But the Rivendell aerial shot, or just I don't know, kind of we're entering it. I think that's probably my favorite. Just shot of the entire movie. Just if I had to take a freeze frame, but then a shot that I don't know just stuck out was right after Gandalf did die, and it's just stuck on Elijah Wood's face like for maybe 10. I don't know. It felt like 10 seconds straight, longer.
Yeah, when he goes no,
and just
yeah,
or no, like up outside, like up, and he's just tear filled, and like it's. Let's see, Aragorn. Yeah, he's getting everybody up, and he's like, "No, we got to move. There's gonna be gonna be crawling here in seconds." And then
that leader of men. Oh god damn.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just I'm in Boromir's shoes too. I think I would confess that I would follow this man a lot earlier. I hope at least I hope my pride wouldn't get in the way of saying that. But man, yeah, that in there whenever Aragorn says, "I don't know what strength is in my blood, but I swear to you, I will not let the White City fall, nor our people fail." And like, I don't know, Boromir heard like that. He had that smile. He was like, "Our people," and like just
people.
Like
When my favorite line of the movie might be when he goes, "I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king." That shit is so hard, and Sean Bean's delivery of it is so good. But yeah, that shot of Frodo is really, really impressive. And there's a lot of stuff in the mountains specifically that is gorgeous to look at. One of my favorite moments is right before Boromir picks up the ring, when Frodo falls and it flies away from him, and the ring is like giant on the right side of the screen. That's actually practically a much bigger ring, and a big ass chain using to lift it.
What? Oh,
because the forced perspective, the camera can only be so good at making that tiny ring look huge. So to keep the characters as big or as small as they were in the background, but still visible, they needed a giant ring and like an actual big chain to lift it.
Okay.
And then they cut to Boromir holding the tiny little fucking chain and ring, and it's really funny. But like that shot, I've always loved that one. But Rivendell obviously produces the bulk of the beautiful imagery in this movie, and there's beautiful imagery everywhere, especially in Hobbiton and in the Shire, I should say. And Rivendell. There's one of my favorite shots is whenever Gandalf is leading his horse Shadowfax out of the Shire at like sunset, and they're against a pink sky. I actually made it the graphic for this episode. Gorgeous shot. Whenever he's riding in his carriage down to their little houses and stuff, like there's just some beautiful imagery. But my favorite shot, and one a relationship I'm excited to see expanded upon, is of Arwen and Aragorn on the bridge in Rivendell when they're like backlit in the garden. And they're like silhouetted and they're like confessing their love, and she's like, I'd rather live a mortal life with you. I think I have that line down. Oh no, I don't. Never mind.
No.
I'd rather live a mortal life with you than live thousands of lives alone. Like that moment's really strong. Liv Tyler is really, really good as Arwen, by the way. You would have known her as Betty in The Incredible Hulk. She's Ed Norton's love interest in that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And obviously Kate Blanchett shows up later as Galadriel. Kate Blanchett shows up in a movie and I'm screaming on my couch like it's a Marvel movie. I fucking love that woman.
Hey, I got Christopher Lee. Sorry, Sir Christopher Lee.
Yes, you did.
And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I guess I knew he was coming. It wasn't like a surprise when he was on screen. I'm like, oh my God, he's fucking in the movie. But I still love him.
No, I've watched this movie 3 times and Kate Blanchett shows up and I go, yeah, I'm like, man, the Lady of the Woods. Yeah.
This SmackDown. Oh my God, like this Gandalf versus Saruman fight. I don't know. At first I kind of laughed and I'm like, wait, what? But then I don't know. I just kind of like it. I think it was that moment in the movie that I'm like, anything that's like that, I don't know, would just be seen as like it could be made better, or like I don't know. It got me to laugh. It got me to feel like, I don't know, it was cool, fantastical, and I'm laughing too for a little bit. But then, like, I was just actually in the fight, and I don't know, I didn't think of it as funny.
It's
anymore.
engrossing, and that's what's cool about this specific era of fantasy action blockbuster filmmaking. Something that I think CGI might have gone a little too far with is hyperrealism. Something that makes this endearing is that it doesn't look particularly real. It doesn't look feasible. It doesn't look possible. I think that that's part of what I want. Obviously, like whenever the Balrog, the giant demon from beneath, shows up, like modernly that would look more realistic, and maybe that would be better, but I don't know. I think that the wispy sort of like it works to their advantage because they knew what they were working with, like instead of being like, well, we can make anything look exactly like we want it to. It almost feels like there's less of a challenge in it because we can make things so hyper realistic. And whenever Gandalf's like standing on the side of the building and Saruman's holding him up there and he jumps off and he lands on the back of a giant bird and flies away, like that's lit. That's lit as fuck. And it looks dope.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if they were trying to go for this, but like the little butterfly or whatever bug that visits him at the top there, whenever like all the trees are getting destroyed, I feel like they're trying to show that it's like, the destruction of Saruman and the bad, and then the one good, wizard up on top that life is still, okay with and
on his
chill
side.
With.
Yeah.
But then later on, having that eagle come visit him, if it was, if I don't know, it doesn't feel like Gandalf planned it out. It just kind of feels like nature was on his side. I don't know. It just, it was, he just saw it flying by. Mother Nature or whoever happens to be the I don't know, I don't know, Father Nature maybe in this one. I'm not sure who they got going on over here. But I don't know. It was really sick just to see him. I was wondering, like, how do you get out of this? I'm like, this is the most impossible prison cell of all time. Like this. You are like no food or anything. I thought he was going to eat that bug at first. I thought like he was going to be starving to the point that he would have to eat the bug. But then, I guess just ran a big eagle to the rescue. And I guess all of this, it feels like just such a massive D&D. Like it'd be the perfect, like, I just want to do this like with the group of friends and just go with the story. But do the books predate D&D? Like
Yeah.
So like I don't know if, I don't want to call it like the sole reason that D&D is like a thing. but like it feels like this is a massive, like, I don't know.
There's an argument to be had that without J.R.R. Tolkien writing Lord of the Rings, most fantasy we have now does not exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, like, we would have found our way there, you know, but you compared it to Game of Thrones earlier, and quite aptly, you know, I would say, you know, Aragorn is the blueprint for Jon. You know, I think that's fair to say. And without Lord of the Rings, I'd argue maybe there's no fucking Star Wars. You know, like you know, Gandalf is Obi-Wan Kenobi. At least in this movie, you know, like that's that's the void. Frodo is Luke Skywalker. You know, like that's the underdog from this faraway place that nobody even really thinks about. And then, you know, like they don't even have a ring. You know, they're the other people. You know, it's the dwarves, the humans, the elves, or men, elves, and Sauron, and you know they all get their rings, but the hobbits don't. You know, so wow. I don't know. I think that I think you're right that D&D is definitely founded in the probably role playing games at large were probably founded in the idea that Lord of the Rings would be cool to experience.
Yeah, and like to try to emulate that. Like I feel like Tolkien did it and no one debates it. It's like, holy shit, yeah, you're kind of like, I feel like now I'm learning he's like the father of fantasy, or like modern day fantasy. And it might just be like the effort and level that he put in. Like the dude created a language. The dude, like, I don't know, it seems that like has this all mapped out and like just there's so many different moving parts, but he has everything thought out. And it feels, I don't know, the RR in his name, like George R.R. Martin. I don't like, is it literally just like, is this dude actually just the root of all of my favorite things? Then I didn't know it. And now I'm actually watching like the closest cinematic experience I can get to like his, I don't know, like, cause Tolkien, I guess, just wrote this stuff and he is the true root, but I feel like it's after Star Wars, but it actually, you know, kind of predate. I don't know. It feels older than Star Wars, which is weird. Like the movie, like it's very new and new day. I don't know, but like just it's not futuristic.
No, the story is a little time. Yeah, like I'm with you. And that it is really cool. He wrote these stories between the time of written in the stages between 1937 and 1949. J.R.R. Tolkien was almost also in the military, so he fought in World War II.
Yeah, talk about a time when they needed escape for real. The dude provided it. I mean, he gave everyone the best.
My fault. He fought in World War I.
Damn. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Man, I didn't know. Wow. I mean, that is kind of funny. If D&D and just kind of fantasy to this level was like, holy shit, the world is getting to the point where we're like killing so many people and it's getting bad. We need to completely create a new world and live in it for 2 hours, 3 hours at a time and never come out of a room and just like role play now. But man, yeah, I'm glad he wasn't, I don't know, he didn't get sucked into the war. I don't know. And he was able to write all this stuff. Cause man, yeah, it seems that without him, I mean, there would just be a lot of my favorite things that I enjoy just don't exist without the guy. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm only one movie in and it feels that like Lord of the Rings is already going.
It's gonna be, man, it's gonna be there.
Is it gonna be better than Star Wars? Like overall, just the whole thing. And
I think there's something to the idea that obviously when it comes to Star Wars, we also have 11 movies. You know, like there's just a lot more of it, which is a lot more opportunity to love some things, and there's a lot more opportunity to dislike some things. I've heard the Hobbit movies are just a disaster. So like there's something to that too, you know. And now we have Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, on Amazon Prime. So like the brand is growing. There's actually an animated movie coming out, or actually just came out as of release date. So that'll be a fun one to go catch in theaters.
Okay.
But
we're
watching these at the perfect time. We're in the perfect time to be watching these.
I've heard a lot of discourse, I guess, about the show, but it feels like kind of the same Star Wars discourse
as
that goes
every
on.
Single discourse that happens with anything that has women and People of color, yeah, same thing. Happening in Rings of Power right now.
So I actually can't wait to watch it then. That's kind of like my favorite thing to watch almost at this point.
Yeah, the stuff that pisses off conservatives.
It's like, I know at least it'll be nice and comfortable for a little bit then.
Exactly.
So
no, I'm excited to check out Rings of Power. I've just always felt weird about committing to watching Rings of Power when I haven't watched the movies. So I haven't done it. But
I got 2 episodes in. I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like,
I watched the first one and I was like, I can't do this.
What am I doing?
I can't.
I'm like, what am I doing right now? How am I? It'd be like actually jumping in to Star Wars with like The Mandalorian. Well, I don't know. I guess some people might have actually done that, but
no, right. But that's the thing, is that this story is so much more small and contained. Like, even though it is grander, like The Mandalorian is a side quest in Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Rings of Power is directly relating to the rings that are in the title. Like that's the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
There's just so much more. It's a galaxy. It's not one planet. So there's a different level to it. But yeah, no, I think that this movie is just really, really special. I love just the heart of it. It's you mentioned earlier that good versus evil, the black and white. It's really simple, but it's really grand. It's about the power of love and friendship in the face of ceaseless darkness, and I think that that's exactly the kind of story that we obviously love. We've talked about Star Wars a lot here. We're big Star Wars fans. Obviously, we love those stories. And this just fires on all cylinders in that regard, man.
Yeah, it's kind of now that I think about it, like a blend between Star Wars and indie. Like it's like the rooted in our real world and kind of where that makes it kind of cool a little bit, and like you kind of connect more with it, but also at the same time, just like I'm not a hobbit. We don't have wizards. We don't have demons, that I know of. I guess right. The Earth could be, maybe Middle Earth is for real. Maybe they're, in all the Kong movies and stuff. You got those,
right.
Or maybe Hollow Earth. I don't know what if there's tunnels to go down in there. But man, no, this world would maybe not be the best to go into. I mean, there's a lot of legitimate evil things out there that I would definitely be afraid of, like what are the wraiths? Is that just what they're called?
The ring wraiths, the Nazgul.
Okay. I feel like they had an official name. Yeah. Man, those just no matter anywhere you go, you cannot hide from them. I don't like if you have the ring, they just know where you are. But I guess putting it on is kind of like okay. Now we know exactly
it's like a beacon.
Where. Yeah, it's
like you are right there. They can sense it, but they can't find you exactly.
That's so cool. I don't know. It's just such a cool dynamic. Like there's so many cool things like that where the sword shines blue whenever there's orcs or is it orcs or I feel like they call them
orcs.
Different things. Orcs and goblins and
there's also goblins. Those are
so
two different
different
things.
Okay. So are the orcs the manufactured army? That or let's see. Wait, no, there was only one.
No, because they're melding orcs and goblins to manufacture the army.
Okay.
It's a whole other thing. But
okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I have a question for you though. As it was your first watch and your first engagement with Lord of the Rings at all, are you curious how the hell there's 2 more movies?
That's it felt like. It was almost going to end here. I'm like, wait, does he actually get
we're getting
to
Mordor?
I'm like, does he?
He's looking at it at the end of the movie. He's like, that's fucking Mordor,
So this feels kind of like the end here, and I mean, it. I hope Frodo isn't the one to actually be tempted and everything. I feel like that's kind of like the whole point of him is that he has lived a life that doesn't have all these temptations and everything, and that just in the Hobbit's kind of nature, any sort of Hobbit just kind of doesn't care about the ring. Like it's just, it is just a ring to them. But I don't...
Except for Bilbo.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess he, through using it or through its own power, corrupted him. I feel like no matter who you are...
Well, and there's something to the idea also that Bilbo is a different Hobbit from the jump. He's not corrupted by any means, but he's more adventurous than your average hobbit. Hobbits are homebodies. They don't like to leave.
Yeah.
Bilbo wants adventure. He doesn't want to stay in the Shire for the rest of his life. He wants to go places because he's been places. You know, he's done the things. He's done all of this. And that's kind of the adventure the Hobbit actually takes you on. Is what Bilbo did to get the ring and stuff.
Okay, I see. The book he's writing is that is the Hobbit book. Okay,
yes.
okay. So
Yes,
literally,
essentially.
So George literally just copied fucking Tolkien to a like carbon copy here, or like just okay. This it's very interesting just to see how. I mean, it's inspiration. It's not. He's not carbon.
Yeah, no, it's its own its own world, you know. Like that's what's
Mm-hmm.
cool about Thrones in comparison to Lord of the Rings is that Thrones is much more grounded, ironically. Which is insane to say. There's dragons and there's an army of dead people and you know all that stuff. But you know, it's much more based in the politics of the world and it's much more based in the wars and the battles. It's just the fantasy also happens, you know, like this is the fantasy. That is the focal point. So I think it's fair to say that the layout was a big inspiration for George R.R. Martin in the creation of A Song of Ice and Fire, but the execution is obviously very, very different.
Yeah, I mean it I guess, yeah, I mean, creating languages in some senses, having all of these different landscapes and different area geographical, you know, just cities to check in on. I mean, I feel like it's you have to just do the work. You know, there's no way around it. There's no way of creating a fantasy type world and just having people like believe
without creating the world.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And I'm thinking of like I'm trying to think of like a new fantasy movie. I don't I'm blank. I don't know. Rebel Moon.
There's something
like the most terrible example of it is just like I feel like I don't know. It's not believable. Everywhere you go just seems like, okay, we're on another blue screen. Or like it doesn't look believable. It doesn't feel lived in. It's just there.
100%. Well, and there's something too in the modern age of filmmaking, specifically fantasy and big budget and giant filmmaking, is that it's all nostalgia based right now, which is a finite resource. You know, like the fantasy stuff we're getting now is Lord of the Rings. The fantasy stuff we're getting now is Game of Thrones. It is Star Wars. You know, like, and it's calling back to things that have happened before. So, and that's a finite resource, which means that eventually they're going to have to start evolving. I saw a great, I'm on Blue Sky now, the Twitter alternative, which is a lot less toxic. It's really wonderful over there right now. We'll see how long that lasts. I'm trying to keep positive about it. But I saw a really great post over there where someone said, he was a writer in TV, and he said, TV pitches used to be going into an office and explaining why you're going to show people something they've never seen before and why that's going to be awesome. Now, TV pitches are telling executives it's exactly like something they've seen before, and you know it works.
Oh, man. I hate that lens because it's so right. Like, it's actually
spot on.
Oh, no. Like, eesh. It's just it's business. It's not art. It's just business. It is what will make the dollars, and it is what you know. If it's unpredictable, you don't know if it's going to make money. But that's, oh man, wow. Yeah, I don't know. Have we just lost art a little bit? You know, I don't know. Are we going through an art?
Not completely, but that's the thing is that, and obviously this is Lord of the Rings. This isn't the best example of giving something a budget that you're not sure is going to work. Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings.
True.
It was a best-selling fucking trilogy of books for years and years and years and years, you know? Like, so there's something to be said that this isn't exactly that example. But we're never going to get the next Lord of the Rings or the next giant fantasy world without some production company taking a fucking chance, which is what they did with Star Wars. You know, like, that's what you got to do. You got to push the fucking envelope and not just be like, well, it's like Lord of the Rings. And then they'll be like, well, why don't we sell this to Prime and just make it Lord of the Rings? You know, like,
Yeah, the
I don't know.
IP, I feel like is just the most, I don't know, it's like it's either if it's not existing and you don't have anything to build off of, then that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for an IP, but I feel like Star Wars, like George knew he wanted to kind of make more, but I feel like the first one is just he's not going for a franchise off the first movie. Like he's making a movie that can stand on its own. He's not banking on having 6 more or 9 more, or whatever eventually to tell the whole story. It's like each one does have to stand on their own too. And I feel like nowadays it's like, well, actually, even with a really good movie like the second Spider-Verse movie, Into the Spider-Verse, it's like, man, it is really, really good, but you are banking on another movie coming after now, and it'd be really nice if every movie could stand on their own, but then also belong to a franchise. But sometimes I don't know, you can't have both.
You know what movie franchise you're talking about? Mission Impossible.
Is that the one? Is it just the one where
it's the
they
fucking
all...
one, baby. They all like, there does come a point when you do need to watch the other movies to get certain details, but every single one could be the last one. Which makes it really, really impactful.
That's so
you know
cool.
what I'm saying? Like, like you could just stop watching after any single one and just kind of be like, cool, that's enough, but there is a next one, and that makes it even better. So like there's a...
Man, that's a good model. Yeah, just assume it is the last movie, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even though you probably know you're going to make another one just because it makes so much money, just assume, in the writing room. I don't know, maybe, make that assumption, but yeah, I don't know. Ethan Hunt, it feels like that's just another one of those guys. I don't know, I haven't seen those movies, but I do know he joins the ranks of, I don't know if he joins Aragorn and Gandalf. I haven't gotten that far, but because
I have.
I
love Ethan Hunt, but we'll save that conversation for when Mission Impossible rolls around. But I do love this movie, man, and like I said earlier, I will be astonished if either of the next two live up to it for me. But I mean, it's just so grand, but still so intimate, and the story is so focused, and there's so much classic feeling in it. Like my favorite scene of the movie is the first convening of the Fellowship, the meeting at Rivendell, whenever they're all sitting there trying to decide what to do with the ring. Boromir's, let's fucking use it, let's go. Gimli's like, I'm gonna try and smash this thing. Let's go. Which, by the way, 6 out of the last 5 movies with John Rhys Davies in it. That's Sala playing Gimli.
What?
Yeah.
That is Sala?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did not know that there would be a mind-blowing casting here. I mean, I don't know. Everyone... Okay, yeah, that took me by shock there. I had no clue. I guess it makes sense.
Sala.
He's in full, I don't know, costume there, but...
Yeah, he's really done up there.
The continuation.
But, I mean, you recognized Hugo Weaving, right?
Yes. Agent.
Okay.
Mr. The first time he popped up on screen, the first thing that went in my head was just Mr. Anderson, and I don't know. But then he very, very quickly devolved from being Agent Smith. Yeah, I don't know. He got into his role pretty nicely, and it was really cool that he was like the only one to kind of make it through the opening of the movie. Like, he was there, and we actually saw him in the opening. I'm like, oh shit, let's fucking go. Like, Hugo Weaving,
that's him.
And then he's like, yeah, no, I was there. Like, I was 3 or however many thousand years ago, and it's just like, oh damn, they just live like that, which is, I don't know. They're just just immortal.
Like, even the humans, like Aragorn's like 80 or something. Like, it's like it's
Wait,
ridiculous.
What?
But no,
he is.
Yeah, Aragorn's an old man.
Oh shit! Oh wow. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Wow.
Frodo is fucking 30 something.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was not clocking that. I don't know. Did they say that in the movie? Maybe I just missed it.
No, this is book stuff.
Okay. Whoa. Yeah. I was just just based on just how they're looking. I don't know. I gave them all human ages, basically.
Yeah. In Fellowship of the Ring, Aragorn is 87 years old.
Whoa. Was it Peter Jackson actually like making the characters younger, or was it are they actually just they do age slower, like, and do appear
They do age slower.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that is a thing.
Man, that's kind of cool. Just everyone's just you got a lot more time. I don't know to think about things, and I love that the hobbits are just like, yeah, we will stay put, eat food, smoke weed, and drink beer, and that is just all they do and all they care about. And I don't know, and yeah, I guess you mentioned that like Bilbo and Frodo were kind of just like Bilbo went on adventures, and he actually liked to go off on things, and that's I. It did feel like very very a disconnect between them, and I guess I just thought that it was just the ring that did it to Bilbo himself, but I guess knowing that he was kind of like that before is interesting. Maybe like I guess he was the only one that went on adventure, so he was the only one who could actually find it, hobbit wise, I guess logically, no other hobbit's going to find it if they all just stay put. But I do love that it is that simple. It's like, yep, it was at the bottom of a lake, and then Gollum picked it up, and then Gollum lost it, and Bilbo had it. That's just how it goes. And
he held on to it, and it prolonged his aging. And and that's what's cool too, is that like years pass in this film, and you don't feel that at all. Which is really interesting. Like one of the things that the book makes a lot more clear than the movie, and I think it's purposeful in the movie that you don't really feel the passage of time, because it's kind of hard to say whether or not in the actual movie years pass. I just know that based on the book years pass. You know what I'm saying? Like the party at the beginning in the book is a joint party for both Frodo and Bilbo. Oh. Frodo's turning 33 and Bilbo's turning 11-1.
11-1? Yeah, I loved when he said that. That was so good.
Oh yeah, that's incredible. It's incredible. But those like 33 is when a hobbit is considered of like coming of age. Like that is it's like our 18th birthday for hobbits. But and then he doesn't actually set off for his adventure for another 17 years.
Oh, wow.
He's 50 when he leaves the Shire. Like that's so whenever Gandalf like flies off and then comes back and is like, "Where is it? Where's the ring?" It's been like 15 years since he saw Gandalf.
Oh,
you know, like
okay.
And I don't think that's the case in the movie. I think that they are trying to make it a little bit more snappy in this, but and it's kind of arbitrary. It doesn't really matter when it comes to the context of the movie. But I knew I had 33 in my head for some reason.
Wow.
And that's why, because they had the party for them.
Huh. Well, I wonder if, I don't know, just making them, maybe in the books, it just, I don't know, you're just assigning a number, but just on screen, like, I wonder why he chose, well, I guess they do just age slower, so they would be young. But it feels like...
It also elevates the fantasy element, like, this is a 33-year-old man. This guy who's celebrating his 111th birthday is standing and is on his own 2 feet, and he's ripe and he's ready to go, like
it would just be...
Gandalf is hundreds and hundreds of years old, like he Gandalf says, "I've known you all your life," to Bilbo, like Elrond says fucking 1,500 years ago or whatever, like it's...
That's true. Yeah, they have time. They have time on their side.
And elves are different. I think that they are legit, like they don't die.
Yeah, unless you choose to.
Unless they're killed. Unless they're killed.
Fair enough. But can't, I don't know. Yeah, do they? Can't, I guess, they're not...
They're not immune. They just do not die of natural causes.
But they got some magic. I don't know. Like does he have like an endless quiver? Like what? Oh, that's the only name I'm kind of blanking on for whatever reason. I feel bad.
Legolas.
Yeah, Legolas. I feel like he just didn't have too much. Like he was there and he was cool and like I don't know. He showed off his archery skills and stuff. But I feel like he just didn't have. Like Boromir and Aragorn just have so much more story to go through and like you actually care about them. But
well, and that's what's cool too is that like we had so much to care about, but like Aragorn has a romance that's like barely fucking in the movie that I hope is explored a little bit more in the next two.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Legolas is a fucking like one of my favorite characters in the book. So like you're right about him kind of being not a non-factor, but just kind of down to ride in this one. Like he's just there and he's like, "You have my bow, let's fucking ride." And that scene's been memed into oblivion, like you have my bow, you have my axe, you have my, like, it's so funny. But
a lot of memes coming from that one. the one does not simply
Mordor.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever like all these coming up, it's like, oh man, I'm finally getting just,
you shall not pass.
What the fuck? I think I'm just thinking meme moment, and not I'm gonna say goodbye to Gandalf and be crying with Frodo. The whole gang. I had no clue what I was getting into. I was just, ready for the memes, and then boom, hit with all the emotions.
After all, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it? There's so many memes in this movie that have resulted from it, and that's just kind of cultural impact, I guess, to an extent. It's not entirely culture. Mm-hmm. It's not the entire definition of cultural impact, but it's definitely part of it, which is interesting.
Be a study. I don't know. You see if there's a correlation between number of memes and like actual. I was gonna say quality of the source, but like Morbius was memed to hell, and it is obviously not this. So like,
there's probably a bell curve. Really, really, just aggressively average stuff does not get memed, but awful stuff does, and really great stuff does.
Someone needs to study this. I don't know. Get on it.
I mean, Breaking Bad. Yeah. How many times have you seen the Walt yelling at his brother-in-law Hank to be like, Hank, no, Hank, like that's one of the most fucking terrible moments in the entire show, and it's been memed into oblivion. When he collapses to his knees and falls on the side of his face, that's been memed into oblivion, and it's so fucking sad in the show. He can't keep getting away with it. Yep. Like Breaking Bad is exactly like that too, but
oh man, yeah, the meme correlate. I think you're right. I think it is either really, really good or they're really, really bad. And man, yeah, oh man, I feel like people blame the internet. Like we shouldn't have these things. It ruins these good moments or whatever. But like,
no, it doesn't.
All it proves is that we're all thinking it. It's just now we have a platform to share it, and it's just someone out there thought of that. I don't know. I think it's more impressive now.
There's only one scene, and this isn't even like, this is just a really niche side of Star Wars fandom, that like Dave Filoni is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Massive Lord of the Rings fan, to the point where a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff is bled through in his work in Star Wars. And someone has made fun of the idea of a Dave Filoni Star Wars movie with like all of the team, like all of the massive characters teaming up, and Luke being like, you have my lightsaber, and someone else being like, and you have my blaster, and and you have my this, and you have my that, and it's like a giant fucking page of a bunch of people going, and you have my, and you have my, and you have my, and you have my, and then at the bottom it's Cal Kestis, and he goes, I'm Cal Kestis, and it's just so fucking funny.
Oh man, yeah, it's just the Marvel team up that Star Wars is
exactly,
like
but because of Dave Filoni's love for Lord of the Rings. But so like that in the middle of my favorite scene of the movie, that part happens, and it just makes me crack up because all I can think of is that fucking meme.
I'm Cal Kestis. That's awesome.
I'm like Cal Kestis. It fucking guts me, man. And it's like, and you have my, and you have my, and you have my, and then he goes, and I'm Cal Kestis. It fucking kills me.
Yeah.
But
man, no, those were, it's that scene right there. Yeah, the forming of the Fellowship. It could be me. It was.
You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring.
But man, I mean, beautiful scenery and just, a perfect. I feel like that is the point in the movie where you're in. Like from that point on,
you're there.
It's all gas, no brakes, and it is like I don't know. We have to destroy the ring. The goal is very clear. It's like we have to destroy the ring, but obviously there's going to be turmoil along the way. There's going to obviously be obstacles along the way that they're going to have to get through. And I don't know. I didn't expect like it to come through just Boromir mainly, like in him just wanting, like I guess it feels like he's the one that actually kind of pushed the story the most out of all of them, and like evolved the most, I guess, out of any character.
100%. And that's why I agree that he is definitely the most interesting character of the movie. Everyone's really steadfast. Frodo is, the cool thing about Frodo is that he keeps proving why he's worthy, why he should be the guy. And because he doesn't have an ego, because he does want what's best, and he's brave, and he doesn't look like he should be, and that's why Frodo is awesome, and that's why I love Frodo. Gandalf is really steadfast, and like one of the coolest, like the cool thing about characters is whenever they do display any bit of turmoil. Like, one of the best Gandalf moments in this movie is whenever Frodo's like, here, take it. And he's like, I can't. Like, do not give that to me. You know, like, the ring would have power it never even imagined. I can't take the ring. You know, like, those moments are what's best. And then on the flip side, whenever they show why they are the best, Aragorn, whenever Frodo offers him the ring, or doesn't offer him the ring, but is holding the ring, and Aragorn just folds his hand up and is like, it's yours, man.
Yep.
That's the shit right there.
Yep. Man. Yeah, I don't know who to pick. I'm actually like, I think performance-wise, I think I'll land on Elijah Wood as Frodo, and I thought I was going to go with Frodo as character as well, but like I really want to spread the, like, I don't, like, I wanted to go Aragorn somewhere, and I feel like character just it that would be the where I feel like it does make sense. Like, the dude just came in. He is the Jon Snow.
Oh, he's so cool.
I mean, he's so
cool.
sitting there. Was that weed that he was smoking too? Like, his introduction, you know, like whenever he hit.
They're all smoking weed, man. Dude. They're all smoking weed.
I mean, come on. This world is. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's like, it's just so much fucking cooler than Star Wars or like any. I don't know. I'm in it so much. Like, this is. I thought I would want, if I could pick any universe to jump into and to like just be a part of, I thought instantly it'd be Star Wars and I'd be a Jedi. You know, I want a lightsaber. I want the Force.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that Star Wars has the issue where like fascism is constantly rising, man. Like, for some reason they live in a cycle where fascism is just always reemerging.
Yeah.
You know, so like you get like 20 years of like good stuff, and then it's like, all right, well now I'm 40 and fascism is back.
That's fair.
And then the same thing happens when you're 60, and so on and so forth.
Well, there are 2 more movies. Does the equivalent?
I'm like,
of
Sauron's
fascism,
not a
you know?
Sauron's not an ideal villain to be existing in your world.
Yeah, I don't know. I know fascism is bad, but honestly, this might be worse.
Is it worse than Sauron?
It's just, I don't know, all kind of evil. I think.
I know. That's what's funny. But well, and I'm with you just purely based on aesthetics. You know, I think that another thing that helps is that Middle Earth is, obviously there's a lot of terrain and there's a lot of different places, but it's one place. You know, like, it is one planet. When you go to like, I would love to live in the universe of Star Wars, you do get the advantage of being able to travel place to place. So it is a different thing. True. But regardless, yeah, I think that the world building established here, I'd much rather live in Middle Earth than I would Westeros. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that's the better comparison. Looking at Westeros and be like, that's a piece of fucking shit compared to Middle Earth, dude.
Flea bottom?
I am heading to the fucking Shire, and I am kicking it for the rest of my days. Yeah. Those little fuckers are my boys. Like, I tell you what.
What's the best place to live in Westeros is probably Dorne. You know, and
Dorne, yeah,
even Dorne, like, it's good, and you know, you can fuck, and you can.
There are places right now on Earth you could go to that are just Dorne.
That's true.
You know,
yeah, and probably better, like much better than Dorne. Yeah, but where are you gonna go to get fucking river? I'm about to say River Run again.
Riverdale. Rivendell.
Fuck yeah, Rivendell. Where are you gonna go on Earth to get there? Where are you gonna go to see an 80-foot tall? I don't even know how tall. Probably taller than that. Demon, you know, with the fire whip or some. I don't know. It's like this. I don't. It was just insane. All of the, like, a lot of structures that are just kind of, I don't know, broken. Like, they never explained, like, the huge fucking wizard looking statues or whatever that were like halting.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, just it felt like the world, it is just so lived in. I don't know, they knew about it. I don't know, it was just there. Like, the world it's just that to them. I don't know. It's crazy that they're just seeing these things. They're not like, holy shit, look at this mountain, you know, look at this view. It's just, nope. Yeah, this we're just going to Mordor. We're just throwing the ring in there. We're on our way. But yeah, I don't know. It is so surprising that off movie 1, I'm already, like, pretty certain that, like, it is going to be, like, just probably the top franchise once I finish it all. And I'm
well, and that's what, like, I have a real tough time. Like, my favorite franchises off the top of my head, obviously Star Wars. You know, I love the Alien movies. I love Mission Impossible. Indiana Jones is obviously really, really important to me. This is going to be like 3 movies if they all are this good or better, I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough.
I don't know.
That's tough to beat.
I did see one meme, the fire horse, and like usually it's like a shitty horse and then a little bit better of a horse and then the fire blazy horse. I've seen.
Yeah, no, it's all three of these. Yeah.
I've seen. This is a certified triple fire horse, whatever that means. So I don't know. I'm ready. I don't want to get my hopes up and think that we're in for all of that, but I mean. Yeah.
No, I mean the thing is that I have no doubt in my mind all three of these movies are fucking great. The thing that will really, really fuck things up is if the next two are unanimously better than this one. If that's the case, I mean that's unbelievable. That's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
If they're not, I'll be more easily able to digest and decide how I feel about it compared to other things. If the next two, I'm like, oh my God, I like these more than Fellowship. I'm fucked. You know what I'm saying? In a good way.
Yeah, this one just seems to check all the boxes. Like, honestly, there's not a lot that happens. Like, it is, like, I don't know, from the very early
3 hours,
on,
but it's contained.
Yeah, from very early on, we know that, like, okay, the mission is to destroy the ring. The only place to do it is Mordor. Like, and that's the mission. And
I think it's just kind of going to be a whatever you prefer, sort of thing going forward. I have no doubt Return of the King is going to be the biggest movie. You know what I'm saying? Like the grandest, most epic of these movies. But I don't think it'll display the intimacy that we get in Fellowship of the Ring. And that's really, really important to me. And that's just me going based off of what I know from the books. And obviously the books it's a different thing. Every book is intimate because you're getting the innermost thoughts of pretty much every fucking character. Like, it's a different thing. So it's hard to say. But just based off expectation, right now, I have a tough time believing this will not be my favorite movie by the end of this project, by the end of the year, by the end of 2024.
Man,
but
I mean, them coming out back to back, like 2001, 2002, 2003. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
that's crazy to go on. Like, I'm trying to think of Star Wars release date. Like for the original trilogy,
those are 3-year gaps.
Yeah, a little bit more. But for the prequels, were they more
also the same?
Okay, wow,
3-year gaps.
Okay, so yeah, wow, definitely a lot more.
It's actually the smallest one is the sequels, 2-year gaps, wow. 15, 17, 19.
They took, I mean, that's insane that they're, doing the same amount of work in just 1 year, but on a seemingly grander scale. Like, it's, I don't know, how is this tracking right now? I guess it is way more modern day. We're not in 1977, I guess, but no, the prequels and I don't know, those were this. I don't know. This franchise just doesn't seem to make sense, and I can't believe it's taking me this long to even begin on it.
Well, production side of things, they show footage from the next movie, or in this movie, in like a vision. They filmed all 3 movies back to back to back. It took over a year. And that's why they were able to release them like that. And they did pick up shoots in between, like if they needed a new shot, if they needed to establish something, like they did stuff they needed to, but they filmed it all in a year and a half, something like that.
Okay. This makes a lot more sense then. Okay, yeah, I was like, something's just not adding up in my brain. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, because if they do only get bigger and bigger, I'm like, how the hell do you turn around and make a, I don't know, that's usually like a season of television, in 1 year, not a full feature film. I don't know. It was just but that does make a whole lot. So they knew from the get-go that it was going to be a trilogy and that it was going to be a year
we are making all 3 and there was no doubt it would be a success. It was this is Lord of the Rings we're talking about, it's going to make money. But yeah, so they knew what they were getting into and they decided we're going to shoot the whole fucking thing.
Okay, this makes
much
more sense now. It is all, I don't know. I thought maybe it was like off the success, like they released the first one, maybe planning for the trilogy, and then when the first one popped off, then they were like, okay, now we'll sign the other 2. I didn't know it was
and also just an absurd cast, dude. Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Sean Bean, Orlando Bloom is Legolas, which rules.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Astin is Sam. Samwise, he was in the Goonies prior to this. I believe he was in Rudy prior to this, and he would obviously go on to be in Stranger Things later on. Andy Serkis is Gollum. Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn, Cate Blanchett, Liv Tyler, Ian Holm is Bilbo, Christopher Lee. It's just...
Yeah, I expected
it's
more
insane.
Andy Serkis. I don't know. I knew people love love Gollum, and I've just heard Gollum everywhere, and his his voice. But yeah, not a lot of Gollum in this one. Yeah.
Not a lot of Gollum here. But yeah, and again, there's an entire trilogy based around kind of him there. He's in all of those too. So
okay, yeah. I gotta get the timeline. It makes sense now. Hobbit is just the prequels. I'm putting it in Star Wars terms.
Exactly. It's just it literally is.
Yeah.
It literally is the prequels. But yeah, and then we got one of my favorite little bits is Merry. I love Merry. I love Merry and Pip. Their steadfast loyalty to Frodo. Them bursting onto the scene and being like, "Yeah, we're going too. Where are we going?" I loved it. It's so cute. And Merry is played by Dominic Monaghan, who you will know from The Rise of Skywalker. He's dark science, cloning, secrets only the Sith knew. That's that guy. He's also Will you wear wigs?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen that clip.
Oh man, it's just so much better now. I don't know. I was thinking of Elijah Wood's hair the whole time. I'm like, man, no, this dude, this isn't a wig. I mean, he says no to that answer, right? He says no. He is not. So this.
Yeah. No, I don't wear wigs.
He's rocking this. I know it's not really a mullet, but almost a mullet. And I don't know. It just kind of works. I don't know. It was looking really nice, but yeah, I know. I don't know. I know him first from Lost, the TV show, is where I knew him from first, and then it was the meme. The wigs meme was second, and then Star Wars when he popped up. It was
right.
So a weird lineage for that guy to pop up, and I don't know, just where I know him from. But no, here definitely my favorite role of his so far. Here, just kind of a little troublemaker. I don't know, just seem to be, they're the troublemakers of the town, and they cause some trouble every now and then on their mission. But
it's so funny that Gandalf fucking hates them too. Gandalf is so sweet, but he fucking despises them. Whenever Pip knocks over the sword and stuff down the well, and he's like, "You fucking idiot! Next time, how about you jump in and we'll be rid of your stupidity?" And that's the last thing Pip hears from Gandalf, which is so funny.
Oh, no. Oh my god, yes, Gandalf literally falls. Oh, that is so bad. He is. Oh man, yeah, Pip's not feeling good. Pip's
not. Well, Pip is one of the ones crying the fucking hardest whenever they go out on the mountain, because he's like, "Damn, yeah, that might have been my fault a little bit."
No. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, they were.
Yeah, now we've got Merry and Pip getting taken by the orcs, and Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas going to save them and stuff. We are going. I am fucking ready for Two Towers, dude. I cannot wait to watch that movie for the first time, because now we're in the same boat now. From now on, obviously I have the books a little bit more book knowledge, but even then, I read those books once. I've read Fellowship a couple times, but I've only read Two Towers and Return of the King once, and it was 6 years ago. I know some things, but I don't know a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of book. So we do have a lot to look forward to. I'm fucking ready for Two Towers and Return of the King in the next couple weeks, but I don't know that I have much else to speak on here, other than Samwise being the sweetest motherfucker alive. Him just being willing to drown for Frodo there.
He had a promise to keep, He
did.
It wasn't even really a promise. It was just Gandalf saying, "Hey, don't lose Frodo." It wasn't even like, "Hey, promise me. You must promise me that you will not lose." It was just he was told it, and he's like, "Yes, nope, I will die now."
He's like, "I've committed, and I will do this." Yeah.
I don't know how to swim, but I don't give a fuck. I am getting, I guess he knew. In Sam's
ill-advised plan, but yeah, he knew that Frodo would save him. He was. You got me.
But perfect. I don't know. Perfect way. Crazy that the end of the movie is actually just them two. Yeah, I don't know. It is just a whole new start. But like I said that for Spider-Verse, it felt like a bad thing, and like you're banking on the next movie. You need that other movie, but no, this one is complete. I don't know. You do want more story, but like off this movie alone through Boromir and I feel like just the other characters, I feel like I don't know, everything was complete, and I'm astonished that they could get better. But man, yeah, this a very good start. I don't know how it will get better, but I'm inviting it. I'm ready.
No, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. And we will go ahead and call it there then. We'll be back next week for the Two Towers, and the week after that for Return of the King. We got a lot going on, though. We are officially on Blue Sky at the Cinementalists, as it is spelt in the description here. I'm also on there at Colton Robertson and the Penny Bloom Dispatches as well. I'm trying to transfer entirely over from Twitter. Didn't think we'd ever get there, but I have a lot of faith that this platform is actually going to be I think it's actually going to stick, which is crazy, but yeah, I'm ready for that. So Blue Sky, if you're not on there, you should be on there. It's a lot of fun right now. Yeah, so we've got that. We are currently doing Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. We talked a lot about a Star Wars here, and we got a lot of Star Wars to talk about. Skeleton Crew is going on right now, and I believe that this next Wednesday and this previous Wednesday, we should have been covering Skeleton Crew. As it turns out, we weren't able to cover it after the first 2 episodes came out. We did have to cover it on the 11th, the first 2 episodes, because my anniversary with Emily. Our 4-year anniversary was on the 4th, so no go there. But we did cover the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew this past Wednesday, and we are going to be covering episodes 3 and 4 on the 18th next Wednesday. So I'm very, very excited for that. Dune Prophecy, we are covering that on Death by Television. We've got the first 3 episodes covered last week, and we'll be covering the last 3 episodes in a couple weeks. And then other than that, it's just the Dispatch and Cinementalists, baby. And like I said, we've got Two Towers and Return of the King coming up, and then the new year will bring us a top 100, which you guys have never gotten over here before. So I'm very, very excited. Top 100 of the 20s so far. We're nearing the end of 2024, which will mark the halfway point through the decade, and I'm very excited to do a top 100 of the 20s. But yeah, let's rate this thing, and then we can get out of here. How are you feeling? Is it an easy 10 for you too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could talk it up this much and not give it a 10. I don't know. I was, the only thing I was thinking is like, do I leave room to grow for the other 2 movies? But
no, that's just how good this one is.
They have to be a 10. I don't know. They in order to prove that to me, I don't know, that'll be the check mark or the test for these next movies is if they do feel that way, because this one, it is I'm in a new world, and I don't know, I'm into the whole thing, and I need to watch all. I don't know. Now I can't wait to eventually get to the show. And I don't know if the Hobbit, if the prequels or whatever, I don't know. It's more supplementary material.
I'll still probably watch. Yeah. I'll still watch them. I'll still watch them. Yeah,
and
I'm with you.
So yeah, I think pretty easy on this rating though for this one. So I don't know. I feel like it'll maybe follow suit for the other ones, but yeah.
We shall see. We shall see. Maybe we get a 9.75 in there. But I'm riding high right now. I'm riding high as fuck. So I'm fucking ready for it. But yeah, leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. I would appreciate it greatly. And go ahead and hit us up on any platform you're able to. Comment on YouTube. Follow on TikTok at Penny Bloom Dispatch and kind of engage with us there. Engage with us on Blue Sky or Twitter or wherever. Would love to talk to you. Would love to create a little bit more of a community. We're really excited for what we're doing on the Cinementalists, and we want it to keep going. So, yeah, let's ride. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, if you want him, come and claim him.